All right, here we go. At it once again with a live psychic tarot reading. My name's Adam Savage, Magic Adam, if you don't know me. And yeah, I'm streaming from a new place. So YouTube is telling me that the stream is it says it's good, which usually it's excellent, but now it's just good. So I hope it's good enough for streaming. If you're having trouble watching this or anything, just let me know and I will try and fix it. But no promises. This is, yeah, anyways. So tonight I'm doing a reading on the economy, looking at 2023 through now and the end of 2023. I've looked at the economy in different ways before. I mean, I looked at inflation through 2023, but I haven't looked at the overall economy in different parts of the world, different continents. So I guess the plan tonight is I don't know how long this session is going to be. It could be long, could be short. I'm doing this at a different time, I realize too. So I'm guessing if you watched me before and it was evening, it's probably morning, or if it was morning, now it's evening, and you're all confused and I'm confused, and it's okay. We'll figure it out. As I've said elsewhere, I'm going to be doing these different times. Right now, there's been some construction during the day, so I can't really do it then. But tomorrow, I don't know about the weekend. This is my first weekend here, so we're going to see if there's any construction on the weekend. I think I hear like a car alarm right now. I hope that's whatever. I hear rain. I'm going to talk over it and just drown it out. That's the general attitude I have. Just drown the world out with my noisy voice. So I'm going to look at the economies of every continent except Antarctica, because there's not much economy there. And I probably zone in too on some of the mega countries with really large economies, US, China, and India, just because they're so large and their economies are so influential, and they're like a world unto themselves. And also I have a lot of viewers in the US and India. Probably not very many viewers in China. I don't know. How does... So my channel was recently deleted, if you didn't know this. And it was restored because YouTube messed up. Their algorithm flagged me wrong or something. It doesn't matter why, but I'm just glad I'm back. And in the process, though, I was thinking about, like, maybe it was some kind of speech issue. I was saying something that was so controversial and wild that I got banned from YouTube. But that is, as near as I can tell, not the case. I think it was just more an algorithm flagged me, or a viewer flagged me, and they shouldn't have flagged me. So YouTube is still telling me the stream rate is kind of low, but hopefully they'll just adjust the video and degrade the video, because I think the sound is more important than the video. So anyways, I'm still keeping an eye on my election predictions for the midterm elections. Overall, though, they're still looking pretty good. It's still up in the air with the House and the Senate, but I'm gonna hold off on commenting on that, what happened with those. But overall, like, I think every individual person race that I predicted has come to pass. The Georgia race is still up in the air, I think, and there are a lot of other races that I didn't comment on that are up in the air. But I'll hold off on that for now. I just want to say that, yeah. As I do this reading with the economy, and I guess with my tarot readings in general, I've talked about how I do sometimes readings on the future of investments, and people can contact me if they want to about investments. I don't encourage that, but I should. I guess maybe I need to start saying, just to make it clear, that I'm not giving you financial advice, because I guess I can get in trouble if I'm saying that something is guaranteed to happen financially. So I just want to make it clear that everything on my channel is, I think I have to say this, it's not legal advice, it's not financial advice, it's not health advice if I'm talking about health. It's just my opinion and my prediction, my ideas about what's going to happen. And even though I'm usually right, I can't tell you that it's guaranteed going to make you money, because putting me in the class of a get rich quick scheme, which I am certainly not. And I think there are more important things than money, anyways, that I want to talk about on this channel and elsewhere. So just take that with a grain of salt as I do these monetary readings. But I would like to see what energies are coming up in different parts of the world. So without further ado, let us begin. And if you have any other readings you want done while I'm here, feel free to chime in. And yeah, oh, I just got a message. Not relevant. Okay. Let's begin. Why don't we take a look first at where do I begin? Why don't I begin? I usually begin with North America, South America. Why don't I begin the other way? I'll start in Australia just to shake it up. Let's see what kind of economic energy we have coming in 2023 in Australia. And I'll give you a peek into the reading. Now that I'm in a hot country in Malaysia, I need to put some weight on my arms because I just look too skinny in these videos. All right. I'll work on that. Wow, some strong energy here. Okay. For Australia, I'm looking at economic energy 2023. What is coming up? My first time. I've been, because I changed so many time zones from Europe to here, I've been very, my sleep cycles have been all messed up. And how will that affect my readings? Well, I don't know. I feel like I'm feeling a pretty strong energy here. So I think maybe in some ways it's good. It's a dreamier sort of energy. All right. Australia, where are you? Okay, right here. And for Australia, I am seeing the Knight of Wands. Knight of Wands is a pretty good outlook, pretty strong energy feeling, I would say. So, yeah, this looks pretty good for Australia, I would say. If you have any specific, I'm not going to go into too much depth on every continent, but if you have some specific question about a specific economy, of course, just ask it, and otherwise I'll keep rolling along. But basically, I'm just seeing this for Australia. I'm going to keep the cards out and only basically so there's no repeats. And yeah, let's move on to Asia. Asia's economy 2023. I have to say, as I travel around the world right now, moving from different countries, it's really interesting to see the world energies as I move from one country to another. You can really witness the world energies as they emerge. See the larger patterns of things. Asia, world energy for the economy. Over here, I'm seeing it. Actually, I'm feeling it. I tend to feel energies rather than see them. I know some people may see things, but I do occasionally see things, but more often I feel things and I kind of sense the energy. All right. Interesting. So for Asia, I'm seeing the Eight of Swords. And this looks more like a position of being constrained and being just in a kind of a frozen moment in which you're not allowed to act and interact in a large way on things. So this is not as dynamic a card as Australia. Um, yeah, for Asia, their overall economy looks kind of just more static and frozen. I'm not seeing a lot of movement. But let's keep going with this. And why don't I look next at Africa? So for Africa's energy. In 2023, Africa's energy. So overall, right now, all I've seen is just Australia looking pretty good, Asia looking more kind of frozen, and now we're looking at Africa. It's interesting. I've been traveling internationally since for about 20 years now, I guess. And since that time, I've seen a lot of interesting trends. One is way more English everywhere. Like everywhere you go, you can speak English and get by. It's become such a world language. I mean, it's been that way for a long time, but it's become much more because I think it has a lot to do with media, which is, the great uniter of psychic energy and spreader of energy, and it generally communicates. The most popular form is social media and Hollywood, and they use primarily English. So it's the young people raised on that and now are just, it's such a world language. It's amazing. But another trend I've seen is just a lot of interesting countries have developed. Like I've been to Southeast Asia. I think the first time I came to Southeast Asia was, I want to say like 2000. Well, I came to Indonesia in 2010, and I've been since then to Philippines, Laos, Thailand, Malaysia, and it's just interesting to see how much development there's been. But I'm looking now at Africa. Okay, Africa's economy 2023. I'm seeing the Two of Swords. Again, like Asia's, this is a very kind of withdrawn and just a frozen moment in which there's not a lot of action. This is a less upbeat card. It's not necessarily like a recession or a depression, but it's just not a lot of growth. It's a very defensive moment in a defensive position. So again, with Asia, I'm seeing more of like this kind of being held captive, but with Africa, it's more like a choice. Like it's more like there's just so much. This is often a recovery period after a traumatic event and just overall traumatic experience. So different economies in Africa, different governments could just largely be trying to find balance and some level of normalcy. That's what this card is all about, because it's just after a really traumatic event, you just want normal. You want, after you're sick, you just want to feel normal. You don't even want to feel great. You just want to be normal is like heaven. So that's what this card is all about. It's having that level of economy of just being normal, being cool. And that's what I'm seeing for Africa. That's what it wants. Let's go to Europe now. And Europe's economy, what's going on there in 2023? Looking at Europe for 2023. Not feeling as strong as energy for this continent. Okay, I think I feel it over here. Spreading the cards out helps me to kind of differentiate. Again, I'm looking at Europe for 2023. All right, here we go. Seeing interesting, the Five of Cups. Again, overall, this is not looking very good. The only card that I've seen so far that has looked kind of positive is Australia. All the other Asia looked kind of frozen and just kind of held captive. Africa looked kind of just very defensive. And now for Europe, I'm seeing the five of cups, which is just a very sad and low energy card. So again, this is not looking very positive overall. Let's move on now to South America. South America, what kind of energy can we expect? There we go. All right. South America. South America is one of the places I have not traveled. They, of course, just had their Brazilian election, which I predicted with unerring accuracy. Feel free to go check that reading out. Oh, interesting. I felt almost like a sharp energy. Yeah, right here. Interesting. The Empress. So the Empress is more positive than those other cards I saw for Africa, Asia, and Europe, but it's a pretty, not a very active card. It's more just like about floating along and enjoying the moment of what you've kind of reaping what you've sowed. So it's not a bad card. It's just a very, lulling along, comfortable, people working at a comfortable rate and just being, enjoying life. But it's not very, again, none of these cards have been very exciting except Australia. Australia is the only one that I'm seeing a pretty fiery energy. Interesting. So let's take a look finally at North America. North America. And I'll probably do a reading just on the USA too after this, just to kind of zone in on them, China and India. North America. One of these. Yeah, right here. For North America, I see the Four of Swords. Interesting. So the Four of Swords is all about like going within and meditating and relaxing and just kind of sealing yourself off from the world to recoup. And it can often be a step before a bigger process, but sometimes it's just a slower energy. Yeah, so interesting. So again, let me recap the whole process that I saw. I'll do them in reverse. So for North America, I've seen the Four of Swords, which is just kind of a meditative inward not withdrawal, like more of like a resting period. And I wouldn't say it's like a depression or recession, but it's kind of like a necessary rest period that you need before a big action. It's not necessarily a bad period. It's just with South America, it's just a slower energy, a lower energy, but it's moving along and things are happening within that. A lot of times those processes within are necessary before they can affect the outer world and mirror into the outer world. So yeah, anyways, Empress for South America. For Europe, the Five of Cups, which is kind of a sad card and lower energy card. Not a lot of economic progress I don't see there. With Africa, I'm seeing this kind of defensive moment, this Two of Swords card. And just very kind of recovering from trauma, recovering from that, and trying to get a normalcy back into the economy. And for Asia, I'm seeing the Eight of Swords, which is a very, this just like feels like that people cannot do what they want to do because they're just being held hostage almost by the events around them. So that it's not a very exciting period for the economy, except for Australia. Australia, I'm seeing a pretty strong energy. This is a Knight of Wands card. It's more of a this could be, the economy of Australia recovering more as they've opened from COVID. They were closed for so long, and a lot of their people are traveling now that can visit there finally. And yeah, so I think Australia looks the best of all these. So, anyways, let's zoom in on a few areas. Why don't I zoom in now on US, China, India. I was also going to look at kind of cryptocurrencies, NFTs, the overall energy I'm seeing from those. And again, if there's anything else specific about the economy, world, or specific economies around the world that you'd like me to look at, just let me know. But why don't I start with the United States? USA, what do we got? USA, I'm seeing, oh wow. Right here, seeing the interesting 8 of Cups. So with that other card that we saw for the USA, which was what was it? I'm blanking. It'll come to me in a sec. But this is like the card it's about turning away from, you know, something that you're engaged in that you like. So it's you forcing yourself to withdraw from that. So it's oh yeah. So we had what was it, 4 of Swords, the one with the guy kind of resting. So again, this is part of that. I think like the U.S. just seems like it's not as exuberantly indulging in like investment vehicles, housing market, very wild. I don't see that. This is much slower energy and a choice that people are just like choosing to do less exciting things in favor of like having some stability, planning for the future. It's kind of a less exciting era, I would say. Interesting. So that's the U.S. Let's look at China, another major economy around the world. Maybe let's look at Brazil too. That's kind of a pretty big economy. So look at China first. China, my China. China's energy for the economy in 2023. All right. I'm seeing the star. Star is interesting. It's kind of a dreamier card in which there's I always see the star of the woman. She's standing on the land, but her foot's in the water. So she's like halfway between these areas of kind of having stability, but also following your desires. And but with that other card in which the swords card, I'm forgetting which one it is, the one with the woman that's bound, that for Asia, this just seems like people are still kind of in the grip of their tight COVID policy and their sealed off foreign policy with visitors right now. That they're still like, people want to start living more extravagantly and doing more things, but it's still being kind of restrained. So it's not the dreaminess of the moon, which is a much more fully immersed dreaminess, but it's like tinkering with that dreaminess and wanting it to be there. So yeah, in terms of their economy, it's like a slight playfulness, and I think there will be more exciting things coming. But I think overall, coupled with that other swords card for Asia, this looks like a pretty slow energy for China. I'm not seeing a lot of dynamics going on. Let's look at India, and I'll look at Brazil, cryptocurrencies, and NFTs, I guess. So, all right, let's look at India. A lot of my viewers are in India, so sure you're curious about what's going on there. India is very interesting in that I was reading about, in terms of English, because I was mentioning earlier how English is so widespread now everywhere around the world. And I've seen it's changed so much in the last 20 years. Like 20 years ago, I would go to places where people would not speak English or they could not speak English. Now it's like impossible. Everywhere people speak English. So, anyways, India, there, since it has so many English speakers, I mean, there's plenty of other languages as well, but that I was reading that among the English internet, the influence from India is going to be there are going to be more English speaking Indian people coming on the internet than any other region of the world. So that's going to really affect energies and perspectives in a lot of interesting ways. But let's look at the economy though for India in 2023. Okay, right here. I'm seeing the Nine of Wands. Interesting. This is about like having a really strong creative impulse, having a desire to create things, and like I said, a lot of that energy is moving. There are so many people in India coming on the internet for the first time that it is going to really affect a lot of different things. But I think as those people, enter the internet, enter the internet, they become a part of the internet, and that collective voice and that growth, the global mind, that they're witness to all these other people and countries that have already been fairly active on the internet, and people that are already been on the internet for decades now. So it's like they have a lot to say, but there's all these other competing voices. That's what I'm seeing with the economy. It's the internet is fascinating in that it's like this real estate without definition, without a border, without anything really limiting it or defining it other than our collective imagination. So I think when people enter it for the first time, they're like, what is its possibility? What are its possibilities? And it's basically whatever you can imagine. Like with programming, like the limits of programming are not really what's been done in the past. It's limited only by your imagination and what you can create. And there are laws of logic that you have to use, but how you interact with those laws are very it's much more flexible than we think. Like our ideas about what the internet is and how fast it can change are really being it's like how much we can allow ourselves to change our minds, and how we see things are really the only limitation. So I think a lot of that, the younger energy that is constantly joining the internet, is going to be affecting it. And a lot of people that have never been on the internet, India, a lot of people are just coming on. It's going to really change the overall just feel of the internet. And initially, whenever people are a novice, they hesitate to try new things, to make too much waves, because if they do, they can be hurt or discouraged. But I think there's a lot of great potential there with India. So, anyways, let's look at Brazil real quick. Brazil under a new president who was an old president, Lula. How's their economy going to look in 2023? And you may want to look at my Brazil reading for a more in-depth look at this, but I'll give you a quick quick glimpse. I seem to be babbling on even more than usual. It's probably because I'm still time zoned out in Europe from flying. I flew 5 hours to Qatar and then 7 hours to Malaysia, so it was a lot of flying. Looking at Brazil's energy in 2023. economic energy, that is. All right. I think I'm going to hold off, but I think, yeah, this doesn't surprise me. If I remember from my reading on Brazil, that I saw something like this, and it was basically that there's this slower energy of process. Like, with a new president, people always want, or at least the people that voted for that new president always want big changes, but I'm seeing a much slower energy. So it's a more solid energy, and it's stable for Brazil, but it's a pretty slow energy. And coupled with that Empress card for South America, I could see that. It's just overall this more platforming effect. All right. Finally, I'm going to look at cryptocurrencies. Overall, there's so many cryptocurrencies. And overall, though, what are the markets going to look like for cryptocurrencies in 2023? Cryptocurrencies, all the many cryptocurrencies. One of the most volatile markets in the world. All right. This came up before. Interesting. So, yeah, this has just come up for India. So I think this is a similar kind of effect, though, that there's a lot of people joining cryptocurrencies that had never purchased them. It's like this tip of the iceberg thing, and it's kind of a pyramid scheme, but it's like, all money is kind of a pyramid scheme when you get down to it. So it's just like how much people believe in it is really the determinant of how effective it is. I think there's like a cautious growth I'm seeing for 2023 for cryptocurrencies. I don't see them exploding the way they've done it various times in the past, but I think they are going to continue to rise. And just like I was saying with India, more people are coming into the internet. So with cryptocurrencies, more people are just investing in them. Yeah. Again, I'm not offering investment advice. I've never actually bought cryptocurrencies, and I'm not sure if I ever will, but it's something to think about. Anyways, NFTs will be the final thing I'm going to look at. NFTs, I'm even more, I'm skeptical about cryptocurrencies, but I'm even more skeptical about NFTs. But let's just see if that market's going to continue to grow or will it collapse. NFTs 2023. What level of growth or shrinkage can we expect? Whenever I say the word shrinkage, I think of that Seinfeld episode with George at the pool. This has nothing to do with this reading. All right. 2023 NFTs. Okay, here we go. All right. Seen the Knight of Pentacles. This is a very slow growth card. I mean, I was talking about that slow growth with that cryptocurrency card, but this one's even slower. It's, the Knights are about action, but this is the slowest of the action cards with the Knights. So I'm not seeing a lot of major growth with NFTs. I think people are still on the fence about whether they're worthwhile or if they're just total junk and pyramid schemes. And I think that's pretty much all I have to say about that. I'm not saying that they won't continue to grow, and I'm not saying they won't in the future grow even more. But I'm not seeing a lot of people heavily investing in NFTs in 2023. Yeah, I think that's all I wanted to look at. I looked at every continent. I looked, if you didn't see the whole video, I looked at every continent except Antarctica. I looked at the U.S., China, India, Brazil. I looked at cryptocurrencies. I looked at NFTs, and I think that's about all I wanted to look at. If anyone has any quick readings you want done before I leave, let me know. Otherwise, I'll wrap this up, I guess. Anyone? It can be about world events, personal events, quick readings, going, gone. It's funny, there's like nobody on this call until now. Now there's like 6 people. I think sometimes I think I should be on time for these readings. Sometimes I think I should be late just so more people show up. But yeah, if nobody has any final questions or things you want me to do reading on, I'll wrap this up. And yeah, thank you all for watching. If you didn't see it all, like I said, I did a reading on every continent, on US, China, India, Brazil, cryptocurrencies, and NFTs. So if you missed it, go back and watch it. And I will have another reading probably tomorrow. Well, I don't know. I'm like I said before, I'm in a new place and there was some construction during the day, so that's kind of going to determine when I can do these. So I know it may not be necessarily convenient to watch these live if you're in different parts of the world, but I'll do my best to make it happen. We'll see. But yeah, thanks for watching. And as always, if you want a personal reading, you can contact me directly at SuperPeer. And my hours on SuperPeer, I need to adjust because I don't think they're right. I'm going to try and spread them out into like a few different morning and evenings, just so, because I know in different parts of the world nobody can watch at certain times. So I think I'm also going to create like a 10 or 15% off coupon for SuperPeer just because I want to. And yeah, to give you guys as thank you for watching these streams. And yeah, so I'll wrap this up, and great for having you watch, and see you later in the next one. I'm probably going to do a next reading on, I don't know, if you have any ideas, let me know. I talked before about doing a reading on Biden, so maybe I should do that because I did Trump so through 2024, so maybe I'll do Biden. And yeah, all right, I'm wrapping it up, and good night or good morning or whatever. See you.